Hello there, it's Linda Stacy of Living Blueprints, and today I'm talking about some ideas around leadership. Leadership is all over the place in LinkedIn. There's tons of people who sell courses about it, consultants and on, and that if we had better leaders, everything would be better at work. And I recently did some research where we took a survey of more than 1,000 employees across the United States asking about a number of things, and some of them had to do with leadership, and at least 50% based on the results have kind of really poor quality leaders. And of the 50% that have better, it's not outstanding necessarily. I mean, leadership is really, really tricky. And so in reading through my LinkedIn feed, I came across something that I thought was interesting, and I thought it's really good, but it's also, we can use it to take things one step further. So I'm going to read a little bit of what the post said. Basically, this person is saying we need to meet people where they are. And he's saying with his highly dominant direct report, so this is him as a leader, with my highly dominant directs, I share my ownership. With my less extroverted teammates, I send a Slack message instead of firing an unexpected Slack call. And then I take a bit of extra time to go down the elevator to process detail-oriented work with my diligent team members. These acts help those around me be their best. So this person is saying that as a leader, he takes time to understand all of his direct reports, the people that he works with, and then he works with them in the way that he feels will work best. And sometimes you can do assessments, and you can actually do internal programs so that you can learn what these things really are in terms of how people best respond. But ultimately, we have to acknowledge that there's a huge percentage of the population that doesn't have the luxury of this type of leadership training. And you might fall into that. The leader might not have the opportunity, they might not have the resources, they might not have the awareness that they need help, no one's telling them, they might not be open. They might consider it an unnecessary luxury. And I know that there are many companies where leadership coaching is offered to leaders, and they turn it down for various reasons. I don't know what those reasons are, but basically what happens to the rest of us who maybe our leaders aren't really taking the time to get to know us? What can we do? And I would say that what we can do is, what do we know about ourselves? What do we know about our own personality and work style? I mean, reading through those very few descriptions of how people show up, I mean, I'm definitely more on the introverted side. Now, you might not get that from me and me being here and being on stage speaking and so on, but knowing that I'm probably not going to be too talkative first thing in the morning is an awesome thing for my coworkers to know about me. I don't hold it against them, at least I try not to, if they don't get it, right? Ultimately, it's like, what can I do to know, what can I know about myself in order to make my experience better as an introvert who doesn't like to be super talkative first thing in the morning? There are things that I can do to help myself. So what do you know about your personality? What do you know about your work style? And what can you own? What can you own that can allow you to do your best work, whether or not your leader is paying attention to what would help you do your best work? It is a separate issue, and there are times when it might be appropriate to have a conversation about a leader about how they could do their work better, or how you could do your work better if certain things were happening. But ultimately, we have to take a lot of ownership and responsibility whenever we bring those ideas to our leaders. So not really blaming too much the environment or the circumstance, but just, sharing what you know about yourself and how you work. So ultimately, I think it's kind of fun to come up with your ultimate best work day. And this doesn't mean, a day off or something like that. This is like real responsibilities. Work is work. Not all aspects of work do we love, right? But, what are the best ways that a day could execute? Like maybe the drudgery parts of your job aren't as difficult today, and why would that be? How could they be less drudged? Are there things you could put in place to make things just flow better for yourself? Once you've written down this ideal day, really look at what would have to happen to make these things better. And I know a lot of times what would make things better falls outside of your control. Like you get interrupted all the time, or maybe your boss won't, fill in the blank or something like that. There are also things that you can do to mitigate interruptions and a boss getting in the way and such. And I have all sorts of ideas, but you can set boundaries for yourself in terms of interruptions. You can tell people around you when it's a better time to be in touch. You can say, you know what, can you come back in 15 minutes? People just need information on how to best work with you, and that's okay. I think sometimes we feel guilty if we can't just respond right away, or that we're not doing our job if we can't respond right away. Well, our job is also to address the thing that we're working on also. So being able to mitigate interruptions is an important thing to do, and I know a lot of people struggle with the constant interruption in their work environment. Another thing, I recently put out a worksheet to kind of help you create categories of things that you might be doing during your day and ways to create boundaries around certain work streams. And one section I had as random. This is just like stuff that comes up that maybe you weren't expecting. You should probably address it today, but it doesn't need to be addressed right now. But you're just kind of putting it over there so you don't forget about it. And over time, that random space, if you do that for a while, might indicate something. It might indicate more time or structure you need to put around something that's kind of a maintenance item that you're not giving enough time to. Maybe over time, whatever is over there indicates just a whole new work stream that someone else should be managing. Eventually, if enough people in one team are doing this, do you have the evidence that you might need additional people, additional resources? So again, this is all about self-management. It's about self-leadership and knowing how you work best and doing what you can to help yourself work best. Like I said, I think it's awesome when leaders get awesome training, but we can't rely on other people to really, make our day awesome. I think that's my bottom line message here. What can we do for ourselves to increase the awesomeness in our own experience? So whether you're watching this on Facebook or YouTube, I would love it if you would like the video if you find it useful, and subscribe to the channel on YouTube. And also I'm going to attach again my 9 tips for thriving in this overconnected, constantly interrupted world. And I hope you're having a fantastic week. All right, bye-bye.